nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Joining me tonight, Rafa. This is kind of a warm-up for our UIL Bracketology show. So we're trying our TAPPS Bracketology for the first time. I think UIL we've done, 3 years? I think 3 years. So this will be the first one here. So forgive us if it's a little bit rough. Like I said here, we're still trying to learn the schools and through that here. But Rafa, you ready? How are you?
Good. Back from Killeen.
How was the traffic?
I took the scenic route. Went down 281. So I had to make some stops in Johnson City and then in Bronco, and had some nice barbecue there at the 300 barbecue. Nice place.
So when you come down, do you normally do the toll road, bypassing Austin that way, or do you go 281? How do you normally do that?
Oh, this one from Killeen, I went down 195 to Florence, and then from Florence to Bertram, and then Bertram to Burnett, and then down 281 south. Like I said, the whole hill country scenic route through Marble Falls, and then Johnson City, and then Blanco, and then back to San Antonio.
So we're going to start out. We're going to do the Division I, start with the girls, then do the boys. Then for Division II, we'll do next, but we'll start with the boys, end with the girls, and then Division III, we'll do girls, and then end up with Division III boys, unless you want to do it reverse. For that here, I know we normally start with the 4A schools for UIL instead of the larger schools. But looking at the bracket wise here, the D3, D2, their brackets are, excuse me, a little bit fuller than the D1 schools. So the interesting thing about TAPPS Division I is everybody makes the playoffs. So there is 14 schools for that here. So Ursuline and St. Agnes, both of them finished number one in both the District 1 and District 2 along those lines here. So they have a bye, or they don't play until the 25th, which is the regional. So your thoughts on just kind of the makeup of everybody make the playoffs, right thing, wrong thing? Would you rather them just start at kind of the regionals and go from there, or do you kind of like everybody gets in?
Mixed bags, kind of like maybe this is the Oprah Winfrey of soccer tournaments. You get a card, or you get a playoff spot, you get a playoff spot. Maybe she'll sponsor the tournament next year. I have mixed feelings on it. Maybe they should do the top four and just start straight, into the regional round, or call it the area round. But you never know with this. You may finish last, and maybe I get playoffs. You do need some luck, and maybe run the gauntlet and become Cinderella, kind of like like March Madness, and be that one team that gets into the Final Four. So, but like I said, we'll see. Maybe next year, maybe TAPPS will think maybe just doing just the 4 teams, or you want to add maybe 6. I guess it also depends also how many amount of teams there are in each division too as well. So that's a possibility to make it more fruitful here in this tournament.
So looking at the D1 girls, I know Coach Cano from the 50-50 podcast last night stopped by and visited us. He seemed to think that they, historically, but even this year, they're probably the favorites, so they get the bye on the, on that side of the bracket here. They finished 18-5, 10-1 in district for that here. The first match here that we're going to discuss is going to be Trinity Christian Academy, who finished 5th with a 10-11-1 overall record, 4-8 in district, traveling to, because the higher seed host at this level against Concordia Lutheran, which was 9-9, 5-7 in district. So to me, at least, looking at the resumes here, probably a flip of the coin.
Yeah, I think this game I think the home field advantage is a key, especially here in TAPPS. So I think you got to give the edge to Concordia on this one, even though, like I said, the records are real close, but having the home field advantage, especially that long travel they have to go to there, that's going to be a factor going into this game.
This would be on the 21st here. The next matchup, Parish Episcopal School out of Dallas. The Panthers 11-4, District 8-4. They're hosting the Village School out of Houston, which finished 6th. 1-13, 1-11 in district here. So, and I know you guys like the Dallas schools, Dallas Fort Worth schools here. So is this one, with the Village School happen to travel, should be pretty convincing for the Parish.
Yeah, I think Parish should take care of business there against the Village.
And then San Antonio's Antonian College, 21-3-3. Most wins in Division One. You could argue best record as well, overall record. And 10-2 in district. Will host Prestonwood, a Christian Academy out of Plano. 3-12-1, 1-11 in district here. You favoring Antonian, I'm assuming.
Antonian. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Antonian, like I said, they had a big win this past week. I think that's a good momentum going into this first playoff game.
So looking on the other side of the bracket, the second seed out of District 1, John Paul, second Plano, the Lady Cardinals, 11-4-2, 9-3. Hosts Ignited Word out of Houston. They were finished last in District 2, 1-11-3, 1-11, also in district here. So I'm assuming you're going with JP2 out of Plano.
Yes. Yeah, Plano should take care of business there.
St. Prius X Catholic out of Houston. They are hosting, they were 9-6-1, 8-3 in district, going against Nolan Catholic High School out of Fort Worth. The Lady Vikings were 7-14-3, 2-10 in conference play. Now they are a DFW school. You give them any, does that help them out, or still you think the gap's a little bit too much?
I think this could be a close game, but I'm going to give the edge to St. Pius on here because they do have to, like I said, they have to travel to Houston, but it'll be a close one. I won't be surprised if this one could go overtime. Like I said, Nolan Catholics, like I said, they're battle tested with that tough district they're in.
And then San Antonio and Cardinal Word High School from San Antonio, 15-15, 5-7 in district. Travels up to Bishop Lynch. Should be Lynch High School in Dallas. There, 12-6, 8-4 out of District 1 here. You give the Carson Word any homerism, or you think Bishop Lynch is going to take care of it?
I think Bishop Lynch should win this one. Like I said, they have a key win over Ursuline, so they'll. Like I said, they should advance to the next round.
So that gets us to the regionals here. You have Ursuline I believe they still host Concordia Lutheran
Mm-hmm.
out of Tomball. Ursuline obviously 18-5-1, 10-1. Concordia Lutheran 9-9, 5-7. I'm assuming Ursuline's still the heavy favorites.
Yeah, Ursuline should, like I said, if they're going to host that game, those should be the favorites going into Round Rock.
And then the bottom one seems probably a pretty interesting one. Parish Episcopal 11-4, 8-4 from the DFW out of Dallas. They're traveling down to San Antonio for Antonian. For that here with the Lady Apaches. You rolling with a San Antonio school or setting up a all Dallas Fort Worth area?
I think this is a tough one, but I think Antonio finds a way to win. I think they finally throw a kind of like a little monkey wrench of the Dallas dominance in the second round. So I'm going to give the edge to Antonio, and I think they'll get to the semifinal.
On the other side, JP2 out of Plano, and St. Prius ex Catholic out of Houston. So Plano Houston matchup here. 11-4-2, 9-3. St. Prius 9-6, 8-3. Probably similar resumes. Plano, John Paul JP2 will be hosting. Slight advantage to them, or?
Yeah, I think I'll give this edge to Plano.
And then we talk about St. Agnes for the first time. Finished first in District 2. The Lady Tigers 16-6, 10-1. Playing Bishop Lynch out of Dallas there. 12-6, 8-4. On there, are we setting up does Houston get a squad in, or is it going to be all another DFW team?
I think this is the bracket buster here. I think Bishop Lynch gets the upset here.
So then here comes the question here. Antonian, do they get to pull the upset?
I think Ursuline has maybe a little too much, so I'm going to go with Ursuline on this one to the final.
And then let's see here. And then JP2 Plano or Bishop Lynch out of Dallas. Let me see see how they matched up here. So JP2 lost to Bishop Lynch on February 13th. But they beat them on December 8th. So 2-1. They beat them at home, which of course it is. But they did lose 0-2 at Bishop Lynch 4 days ago.
So, and this game, like I said, is in Round Rock, so I'm going to give the edge to Bishop Lynch.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll be in Round Rock. So I'm going to give the edge to this one to Bishop Lynch.
Which would set up an interesting final here, because Ursuline Academy did lose to Bishop Lynch earlier this season. Now they did split their 2 matches there. So is Ursuline hosting another title, or is, you got Bishop, riding Bishop Lynch all the way through?
I think Ursuline gets some little revenge or that one loss, and I think they'll claim the title again this year.
Alrighty, so we got for D1 girls, our Ursuline Academy, and I think they hold the all-time record, is my understanding, based from Coach Cano. So another trophy case for them here. So moving to the boys here. All right, hold on 1 minute here. I'll get this set up here. Turn this in. All right, yeah, okay, so it just didn't look right here. All right, so for the TAPPS Division 1 boys here, we have, here's why it doesn't look right. I'm trying to see here. No, that's why, because there's the one match on this side that throws it off. Okay. So on Division 2, or pardon me, Division 1 boys, For that here, let me switch over to here. Put that here. The number 1 seed out of District 1 is Prestonwood Christian out of Plano. They get a bye all the way to the regionals for that here. Same with Antonian. Same with Central Catholic. And then JP2 out of Plano also gets a bye all the way to the regionals for that here. So, let's see here. So, this makes it this one's a little bit more trickier to set up because they did have one
by district game.
Well, no, one independent,
which is probably more like El Paso,
which is the Cathedral High out of El Paso. And then, so out of the District 1, you had 6 schools, and out of District 2, you had 6 schools as well. So that's why there's the odd number here for that here. So Cathedral, according to Rank 1 Sports, they were 4-4, for that here. And like I said here, just looking at the top teams here, Prestonwood 15-0-1, so only 1 draw, 10-0 in district. Central Catholic won District 2, 13-4-1, 9-1 district. JP2 Plano, the Cardinals finished 13-4-2, 7-3, where Antonian finished 17-6-4 and 6-4 in district. So it looked like Central Catholic and Prestonwoods are the 2 heavyweights in here. So looking at it here, Bishop Lynn. I don't know how I did that on the boys' side as well. Oh, because I copied it. Maybe it auto corrected. Bishop Lynch will host the Cathedral High School out of El Paso for that here. Bishop Lynch finished 2-12-2, 2-8 in district, the bottom on District 1. Cathedral High School only played 8 matches according to the record, 4-4. So in the bi-district play that starts tomorrow, you favoring Bishop Lynch or you favoring Cathedral?
I think that's going to depend of who they played. Even like who Cathedrals played. What wins that they got.
Let's see here. So they played. They lost to El Dorado High. They lost to Yasalta High School. Lost to Austin High School. Beat Parkland. They beat LPI. Doesn't tell me who LPI is.
Patterson. Lydia Patterson Institute.
So they beat them twice, 2-0 and 3-0. And then they beat Santa Teresa High School 3-1. They just haven't had a lot of matches though, based on Rank 1 Sports for that here. Like they played. Most of their matches were January 27th, and then they had one February 10th.
So they've had a long layoff, and that could come in a factor since Bishop Lynch, even though they had not so good record, but they've played quality opponents in their district. So, and then with El Paso driving all the way to Dallas, I'm going to give this one to Bishop Lynch on this one.
It makes you wonder. I was trying to think how to make this a little bit more even, so that way El Paso's not. And I know it's a distance thing for it here. Yeah, I'm wondering but there's really not any other. Looking at the other regions, if they drop to D2, is that something that would be an option for them? I know they look at the level, but
yeah, I think because of the distance, because there's not really any TAPPS schools out in West. I think they're probably the only TAPPS school out in West Texas. So whatever division they're in 1 or 2 or 3, they're still gonna, I think, end up being independent. What I'm surprised is that they didn't try to schedule games. More games in through January, or at least play a couple of tournaments to get some games under. And then also during when they start in the season, I know, like I said, it's a distance, but there are some TAPPS tournaments, and I'm surprised that they don't attend those to just get some games under their belt and then play some scrimmages. I'm sure they may have played some scrimmages in December with some of the El Paso area teams, but I think that's one of the disadvantages they have, just not having anyone close in a close proximity to play against. So maybe that's something they probably need to look into for next year, is maybe schedule a couple more games, or at least play a couple, since you're independent, you don't have any district games, play some tournaments in each weekend.
Or even play some schools from New Mexico if possible.
Yeah.
Along those lines here. But to
Yeah,
me,
they
it's
can
just
go to
it's a little bit odd, for me here. So bringing it up to for the area, Antonian, Prestonwood, Central Catholic, and JP2 Plano get buys for this round here as well. So for the area on the 21st, which is next Tuesday, you got Parish. Let me mix that.
Parish
Episcopal. 6-8-2, 2-8, going against St. Thomas. 13-11, 3-5-5 in District 2. You're going to find District 2 outside of Central Catholic and Concordia. Pretty even, 6-4 and 5-5. So like here, 6-8-2. So they would be traveling to St. Thomas there in Houston here for the Eagles. You giving the advantage to Parish, or
I think Houston finally gets one here. They'll steal one from one of the Dallas teams.
And then Nolan Catholic, 14, 10, and 4, 6-4 versus Concordia Lutheran. Concordia 5, 16, 3, 0, and 10. In District 2. So I'm assuming you're setting it up for Nolan Catholic.
Nolan Catholic, yeah.
On the other side, Trinity Academy out of Addison, 5, 14, 1, 3, and 7, going against St. Prius. 12, 5, and 1, 5, and 5. Prior to the last week, they were kind of in that run for the second spot, and they ended up, finishing fifth, depending on, based on the tiebreakers here. So they are having to travel up to, Trinity Christian. You still giving the advantage to Trinity Christian, or you think St. Prius, even going on the road, has the talent to do it?
I think St. Pius has the talent. I think they have I think they can get a sneak one in from the Dallas area.
And then the Village School, to me, it's one of those, be careful. For that here, we'll host Bishop Lynch High School out of Dallas for that here. Although if they did get Cathedral, that's a long drive to go from El Paso to Houston for that here. So quick turnaround. So for Bishop Lynch, they'll have played on the 18th, turnaround on Tuesday. Traveled down to Houston to play the Village Schools. 2-12-2 for Bishop Lynch. If they advance, that would be a third win going against the Village School. 10-7, 5-5 in district.
I'm going to give this one. Yeah, I'll give this one to the Village.
All right, so that sets up an interesting Final Four here. Let's see how you have this set up here. So, Prestonwood Christian out of Plano, St. Thomas out of Houston. Prestonwood Christian Academy hasn't lost as of yet this year. The Lions, looking at their schedule, 6-1, 5-1, 6-0, 2-0, 5-0, 3-0, 4-2, 6-1, 3-1. Bishop Lynch, they did win 1-0. Nolan Catholic, 7-1. So looks like that they've been pretty solid all the way through the year.
So I'll go with Prestonwood. I think they'll take care of business against it on this game.
Nolan Catholic and Antonian. Now that one to me, I won't lie, he has my ear perked up because I know you and Coach Cano do favor the talent coming out of, or maybe not the talent, but the schools coming out of the DFW area. So Nolan does have to travel down to San Antonio. Do you give the advantage to Antonian, or you think Nolan Catholic, 14-10, 4, 6-4, going against Antonian, 17-6-4, and 6-4 also in their district. So similar records. Kind of think Antonio's got a slight overall record here.
I think with having the home field advantage is a big thing here. So I'm gonna give the edge to Antonio. It'll be a close game, maybe a 1-goal game, but I think they'll advance. I'll advance to the semifinals.
JP2, Plano and the Village.
JP2.
JP2, and then kind of an interesting one for us. Let me see who.
Which will be a rematch of a district game.
Which they so the St. PSX Catholic out of Houston split with Central Catholic for that here on February 3rd. They lost 4-2 in Houston, but they did beat them 3-1 in December when it was here in San Antonio for that here. So.
Yeah,
like I said, St. PS was right up there till the end. So don't be fooled by that 5th seed here. I think their talent's a little bit deeper, but Central Catholic seems like they've been on a roll, trying to redeem from last year's, to me, a disappointing year for Central Catholic.
Yeah, and I think this year, like I said, this game, the rubber match here, I think being back at home at Tom Benson, I think they'll win this one. They'll advance to the semifinals.
So then that'll set up a very interesting Prestonwood out of Plano hosting Antonian, and then JP2 out of Plano traveling down to San Antonio. So are we seeing an all San Antonio, a split, or all Plano? How do you see this going through?
I think it'll be split. I think Prestonwood will beat Antonian. And then, but I think Central Catholic, I think this is kind of like a redemption tour for them. So they'll knock out Plano. I think they'll advance to the final.
So then, does Prestonwood make it undefeated through the season, or does Central Catholic, show that San Antonio, going back to 4 years in a row that they won with Jose Gallegos? Do they get another trophy, or does it stay up in
this
Plano?
might be. I think this one might determine who they played early on. I don't know who Prestonwood played as far as non-district games. What key games? Because, like I said, Central Catholic did go to the North Texas Elite Showcase, and they had a very, have some positive results over there. They had a good showing, and playing against those elite teams helped them out.
Yeah. So looking at, and this is the schedule according to Rank 1 Sports. I don't know who HSAA is, so we'll go there. But they played Liberty Christian, St. Mark's School of Texas, Prince of Peace Christian, Coram Dio Academy, which I think is in the playoffs at D2. Played St. Mark's School of Texas again, Trinity Parish, and then then their district stuff. So not a lot out of there. Where Laredo's St. Augustine, TMI, the Village, lost to Lee at the North Texas Elite, McKinney Boyd, Irving, South Lake Carroll. Now they went 1-1-1 up at the North Texas Elite, Antonio Concordian, and then the district through there. So yeah, I think schedule wise, at least with that tournament, early January, playing the tougher teams there. And I think Laredo, St. Augustine, were they the?
I think they're in Division 2.
Well, I know they're in Division 2. I'm just trying to remember.
They were the fourth. I think the 4th place. I think in their district.
No, they did not. St. Augustine, Laredo, the 4th. So they finished 4th here. So they were a playoff qualifier for that here. So schedule-wise, to me, I think Central Catholic has faced the tougher schedule, and I think that's why you see a couple of bumps on there. Level of district, would you say they're kind of level, or would you give an advantage, to District 2 or District 1? Would you say
I think it might be the same. I think it'd be the same, but I'm gonna go with Central Catholic, and then the reason why is for them going to that North Texas Elite, playing those tough teams. Prestonwood hasn't really played at that teams at that level. I think that's going to be the difference, and also it might go down to coaching too, because they do have an experienced coaching staff that's still there, that's won it, and I think this team's very hungry. It's like I said, this is a redemption for them, and I think they want to prove to everybody that we're back. We're going to be the dominant team here for TAPPS again.
All right, so that sets it up for Division II or for Division I. Central Catholic on the boys, Ursuline Academy on the girls. Be interesting to see how we feel about those for that here. Moving to D2 boys. All right, let me get this set up here. So let me see, I got those two there.
Couple of score updates. Southwest boys just squeaked by Legacy 1-0 after that big one they had against Harlandale.
I just saw this here. Hold on 1 minute. Let me just check one more thing because I just saw D2 does have an independent team, but I don't remember seeing that independent team in the playoffs here. So let me just make sure that. Yeah, so they don't have an option for that independent team to go for the playoffs. Okay. All right. Let's flip this on here. All right, so here it starts out with out of District 2 or Division 2, District 1. You had Southwest Christian School Fort Worth finish first at 11-3-1, 7-1 in district. You had Grapevine Faith Christian finish second, 12-7-1, 6-2. And then the third team, All Saints, is equal 4-9, 4-4 in conference. And then in District 2, so those were the three playoff schools you had. District 2 also had three playoff. You had Legacy Christian, although the TAPPS website does not have a record for them, but they have them in the playoffs. So we'll take the word for that. Cristo Rey College Prep out of Dallas, 11-6, 6-4. Bishop Dunn, so they only got two. Bishop Dunn out of Dallas has finished third, and then they went to out of District 3, which is Austin. Austin got two schools in: St. Michael's Catholic, 12-4-3, 5-1. And Regent School, the Knights, 14-5-1 and 4-1 through that here. So looking at the bracket here, first one here, Southwest Christian going against Bishop Dunn, finished third out of the second one there. Any favorite that you got on this one?
Well, I could probably Southwest Christian. I think because where they finish in the district play, so I think they'll have the advantage.
It's just odd that they don't have
the record.
11-3. Oh no, they found it here. 11-3-1, 7. Which is the next school, Regent School out of Austin, 14-5-1, 4-1. Let me just see if they even have any record. So there's not even a schedule for them. But obviously they had to play though, right?
Yeah.
So let me just see. So Legacy beat Cristo Rey twice. So they did play games, they just didn't update it on the system. So when they certified it, so you figure they had a better record than the 6-4 in district here for that here. So it's hard to kind of tell on that one there on how dominant that they were for that here. So do you give? And this one's kind of blind. They are hosting Frisco School. I'm assuming you're favoring them over
Yeah,
Regents. Although
I'll
we've
go.
seen
I'll go with
Regents
Legacy on
before.
that. Yeah, I'll go with Legacy on this one. It'll be a close game because Regents does have a good team, but
Yeah,
I
they're a
think
solid
since
school.
they have to go up to Frisco, I think that's probably going to be the difference maker there.
Grapevine Faith finished second out of District 1, 12-7-1, 6-2 against Cristo Rey, 11-6, 6-4 for that here. So I'm not sure, travel obviously not an issue, between
Yeah.
Dallas and Grapevine School.
So that I think that advantage will go to Grapevine.
And then All Saints Episcopal out of Fort Worth, traveling down to St. Michael's. 1-3. Don't get this one here. 4-9, 4-4, and then St. Michael's 12-4-3 and 5-1. So I'm assuming we're going with St. Michael's with the travel.
Michael's, yeah.
And then on the other side here, St. Joseph Brownsville and Forsyth Catholic, which finished 13-7, 9-5. So it looks like here. So out of District 5, looked like a pretty solid division here. So you had Monsignor Kelly Catholic out of Beaumont, which I know historically they've been very good for that here when we've talked about the playoffs before for TAPPS. They were 21-2, 14-0 in district. Lutheran South Academy out of Houston, 14-2, 10-4 in district. The Emory Weiner School out of Houston, 10-9, 9-5 in district, and finishing fourth for Saudi Catholic, 13-7 and 9-5. And then out of District 4, which we're familiar with because it's got the San Antonio schools, St. Joseph Academy, Brownsville, the Bloodhounds, 17-6-1, 11-1. TMI, 17-4, 10-2. San Antonio Christian, 12-9-1, 7-5, and St. Augustine Laredo, 7-12-1, and 6-6. So I'm assuming you're going with St. Joseph Brownsville, or do you think the school out of Spring, Texas?
I think that'd be a tough game for St. Joseph's, but I think they'll squeak by that one. I think they'll get the win on that one
because of the travel, or
yeah.
So San Antonio Christian travels to Lutheran South out of Houston, 14-2, 10-4, versus 12-9-1, 7-5. Seems like a pretty balanced game between these two schools, at least record wise.
Yeah, I think San Antonio Christian pulls off. They'll steal one on this one.
TMI hosting the Emory Weiner out of Houston.
TMI.
And then St. Augustine Laredo going against Monsignor Kelly.
I'll go with Beaumont Kelly.
I already knew that answer. Because we've never done a TAPPS bracketology, but we have talked about the TAPPS playoffs, for that, and they're ones that historically go pretty deep. When it comes to the TAPPS playoffs for the boys. So the regional on the 25th, Southwest Legacy out of Fort Worth hosting Legacy Christian out of Frisco. Legacy Christian's kind of the unknown, unfortunately, for that here to kind of see how they do. Let me check. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, they're on Max Preps.
Yeah, that's what I'm pulling up here to see if they're on Max Preps, because I hate not having any information. Let's see.
We're looking for a little upset update for a halftime. Piper Boys up 1-0 over Swinson Valley Boys.
Ooh. Is that an upset, you think, or no?
That could be. that could be an upset. Like I said, with Piper being the upstart, first year in varsity play to get a win over a regional quarterfinalist from last year, especially in 6A. That speaks volume. That speaks volumes for your program.
Yeah, I'm not seeing hardly. Let's see out of Frisco. So Christian Frisco. Yeah, they got a 1-1 record for that here. The Bishop
So
Dune, and then they
not
lost
much
to North
information
Central Texas. Yeah, there's no information on them at all, unfortunately, which is kind of unfortunately sad to see.
Kind of have to wing it. So we'll go with what was the record for was it on top?
Southwest
Legacy,
Christian, 11-3, 11-3 and 1, 7-1 in district. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll go with
Oak
Southwest Christian on
Ridge,
that one.
Coronado, Texas Storm, All Saints, Grapevine Faith, Fort Worth Christian, Bishop Dune, FWCD, TVS, Trinity Valley School. So yeah, no, they haven't really played anybody from UIL, so we're gonna go with there. And then Grapevine Faith traveling down to St. Michael's.
Mm-hmm. I think Grapevine gets this one.
12-7, and then really 12-4-3. So yeah, 5-1. Yeah. So that sets up that. And then you have St. Joseph Brownsville versus San Antonio Christian, and then TMI versus Beaumont Kelly.
Yeah, we'll go with Brownsville St. Joseph, and then Beaumont Kelly I think they'll advance to the semifinals.
So then Southwest Christian and Grapevine. Let's see their head-to-head here. Grapevine Faith. So Southwest Christian lost to them on February 6th, 2-1 at Faith, but they beat them at home 2-1. So they each won 2-1 on their home stadiums for this. This would be at a neutral site.
Neutral site. So we'll give this one to the Fort Worth team. I think they'll find a way to win on this one.
And then you giving the title to Beaumont or the team from Fort Worth?
I think Beaumont's probably I think Beaumont Kelly's a class in this group.
Well, hopefully, here's hoping the ladies isn't as difficult with that here. So we got Legacy Christian again. So hold on 1 minute. Let's get this set up here.
I got actually another update. Another one of the big games. Swenson Valley girls at the half leading the Lady Piper, the girls from Piper 1-0. So close matchup.
All right, so D2. All right, let's take a look here. So looking at the standings here. Oh yeah, we actually got some information for hold on, let's double check here. Actually, no information again for Legacy Christian. Yay! So how do they get into the playoffs? Ooh. All righty here. So there's some. So we'll just go over the playoff teams here. So District 1 had 3. Southwest Christian School out of Fort Worth, 10, 4, and 2, 7, and 1 in district. The second seed, Grapevine Faith, 13, 5, 1, 6, and 2. And then the third seed, Liberty Christian out of Argyle, 8, 9, 8 wins, 9 losses, 5 and 3 in district. Looking over at District 2, you had 3 slots for them. Grace Community, 22, 2, and 1, 8, 0 in district. Coram Dio Academy out of Flower Mound, 6, 8, and 1, 5 and 3. Legacy Christian, there's no record of for that here. Moving over to 3, flip this time, Regent School, 10, 3, and 1, 5 and 1. Although it says St. Michael's finished second, although according to Rink One Sports, 14, 2 and 1, 5 and 0. So I'm not sure how 5 and 0. I'm assuming there's probably a score that they didn't have updated
Losses
for that here. And then moving over to ours, our region here, District 4, San Antonio Christian, 15, 4 and 1, 10 and 0. TMI 10, 8 and 1, 7 and 3. Coach Cano's St. Mary's Hall, 8, 10, 6 and 4. And then I think St. Mary's makes it right. Or St. Anthony, St. Anthony Catholic, 7, 8, 5 and 5 make it. And then, but to me, the juggernaut probably is St. John's 23rd, XX
23rd,
right? X 23rd. College Prep out of Katy, 22, 0 and 3, 14 and 0 in district. Fort Bend Christian Academy. See here's finished second, 12 and 4, 10 and 4. Lutheran South, 18 and 6, 9 and 5. And the Emory Weiner, 11 and 7 and 1, 9 and 6. Eased out Beaumont Kelly, 15, 11, 8 and 6. So to me, District 5 looked like to be the powerhouse, at least with St. John's 23rd for that here. But so we'll take a look, see here. Southwest or Legacy Christian out of both Fort Worth and Frisco.
Let me see on the. Can I see the bracket?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
So I'll go with the top seed.
Southwest, because Legacy Christian doesn't have any record. So for that here, to me, this one here, St. Michael's Catholic and Grace Community. Grace Community 22 and 1, 8 and 0. St. Michael's 14, 2 and 1, 5 and 0. Although there's got to be a loss, probably to Regents along there somewhere for that here. So St. Michael's of Austin would have to travel up to Tyler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go with Tyler. Grace Community. Like I said, they got an excellent record.
Grapevine Faith finished second, 13, 5 and 1, 6 2, hosting. Actually, I don't know who's hosting on this one because they're both second seeds. Let's see if it has it here. Yeah, it still says neutral. Well, it says neutral site, but I know there's usually the. Actually, hold on. Let me just double check here. Things you don't know until you actually get into it. Division 2. Yeah, 1 and 2, 2 and 2. Let's see. See if Max Preps has anything. Yeah, I wonder how that would be. Would you think it would be a coin flip or?
I think it might be a
neutral site because it's Grapevine and Flower Mound.
Yeah, so more likely they're gonna meet somewhere nearby since they're right next to each other.
So I guess travel really doesn't matter in this case here. Yeah. So Grapevine was 13, 5 and 1, 6 and 2. Coram Dio Academy out of Flower Mound, 6, 8 and 1, 5 and 3. So if you're looking at records, probably Grapevine Faith.
Yeah.
Through that here.
Yeah, they'll have. they'll advance.
And then Liberty Christian Argyle and Regent School out of Austin. Liberty Christian 8-9, 5-3. Regent School 10-3-1, 5-1. So this is one of those, I think. Does the power of the Fort Worth schools do better? Because I hate to say it, the Austin schools, it was just Regent, St. Michael's, St. Dominic, Savio, and Hyde Park. So probably not the best district, overall for Regents.
I think I'll go with Regents on this one. I think they can pull this one out.
So on the other side, San Antonio Christian versus the Emery Winery out of Houston.
I'll go with San Antonio Christian.
We got to be careful with Coach Cano, St. Mary's Hall, and Fort Bend Christian out of Sugarland. Like I said, 12-4, 10-4. So they've done really well in district, where St. Mary's Hall 8-10, 6-4. So obviously, on a personal level, we got St. Mary's winning it all, but
yeah, this might be a little tough challenge. But like I said, you never know what can happen in the playoffs. But like I said, St. Mary's Hall does have to travel over there to Fort Bend, so I'm gonna give the edge to Fort Bend on this one.
TMI and Lutheran South. To me, I think this is kind of a interesting one. TMI 8-10-1, 7-3. Lutheran South 18-6, 9-5. Even though they are traveling to San Antonio.
I'm gonna give the edge on this one to Lutheran South.
And then St. Anthony Catholic and St. John 23rd College Prep out of Katy. I'm assuming you're going to St. John.
Yeah.
Are you going to St. John over Lutheran South as well?
Yes.
Let's see here. And then San Antonio Christian and Fort Bend.
That's going to be a tough one there for San Antonio Christian.
And it would be in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'll give them the edge on that one. I think that it'll be a close. I've seen San Antonio Christian play. They have a really good forward. That's a good midfielders. I think they have enough to get by. Like I said, the Sugarland team is going to be a test for them, but I think they can get by on this one.
So you went with San Antonio Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Southwest Christian and out of Fort Worth, or Grace Community out of Tyler.
This is an interesting matchup here because you got East Texas versus Southwest Christian. And Southwest Christian's record, what was their record again?
10-4 and 2, 7-1 in district. Grace Community was 22-2-1, 8-0. So,
yeah, this could be a little. I think a competitive game, but I think Grace Community just squeaks by on this one.
Grapevine Faith, 13-5-1, 6-2. Or are you still rolling with Regents out of Austin?
I think Grapevine will take care of this one.
So Grace Community out of Tyler or Grapevine Faith?
Another tough matchup, but I'm going to go with Grace.
And then San Antonio Christian or St. John 23rd?
St. John 23rd.
And you got St. John winning it, or you got Grace?
Yeah, I think this will be This is going to be a really good game, but I think St. John's going to come out on this one.
All right, so Division II winners, we got Beaumont Kelly for the boys, and then for the girls, out of Katy, out of St. John 23rd College Prep. So for that here, so that would be interesting. And then moving to and this it's going to be another odd bracket setup due to the uneven of schools here for District 3. We're doing the girls here. Having on the girls here. So, come on. And then, so 1 second here. So I'm going to do D3. All right, so looking at this bracket here. So out of D1, the convent school out of Dallas, the Knights, 13-4, 9-1 in district. McKinley Christian, 14-1, 9-1 as well. And then is there another one? Yeah, okay. And then the Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville, the Cougars, 7-6, 6-4 through there. And then so District 2, you got Dallas Christian Mesquite, the Lady Chargers, 9-3, 5-0 for that here. How many come out of 2? 2. Lake Hill Prep, 9-2, 7-2. Brook Hill finished at third, 8-7-2, 6-3. And then I think, and then out of 4, finished fourth. Prince of Peace out of Carrollton, 4-9, 4-5 for that here. So that covers that side, right? No, District 3. District 3 is going to be Austin and Waco here. Finishing first, Brentwood Christian, 9-2-1, 9-1 in district. Finishing second, 3-2. Veritas Academy, 8-6-1, 8-2. And then the San Juan Diego Catholic out of Austin, 8-6, 7-3 for that here. And I think that covers it, right? Oh, and Live Oak Classical finished fourth. And they finished 4-6 on that side there. Moving over to Cat. Moving over to our side of the bracket, JP2 out of Shirts, the Guardians 23-4-1, 8-0. Geneva Schools 14-2, 7-2. The Atonement Academy finished fourth, 8-1, 5-5, and New Braunfels Christian 6-3. And then in District 5, so they also got 4. So Cypress Christian 17-5-2, 14-0. Logos Prep Academy out of Sugarland 17-14, 12-2 in district. Northland Christian 8-5, and Westbury Christian School 6-8 for that here. So let me just make sure. Yeah, so that one. Initially, I thought it was going to be the British International School out of Houston, but they did. This is one of those where, because what makes this round special is they had a district tournament to settle here. So if you're looking at records, actually Westbury Christian played their way into the playoffs over the British International School of Houston to knock them out, because actually looking at district wins, British International would actually finish ahead. So that's kind of interesting for that here. So on our side of the bracket here, on this side here, there's no bi-district play. Everybody gets a bye. However, on the other side here, on the DFW side here, there are a couple of play-ins. Brook Hill finished third out of D2, 8-7-2. Will host Live Oak Classical out of Waco for that here, and they were 4-6, and that's all that they had played here. So Brook Hill, the Lady Guard, going with them.
Yeah, we should go. Yeah, Brook Hill. Nothing low advance.
And then McKinley Christian. Let's see here. They finished 14-1, 9-1. They get Prince of Peace Carrollton, 4-9. So I'm assuming we're going with McKinley Christensen.
Yeah.
And Covent Christian Colleyville. Second here. Colleyville, so 1-3. So it's here. They finished 7-6. San Juan Catholic out of Houston, 8-6, 7-3. I'm not sure because this is another one of those that have the 3 seeds
Against each other.
going against with these two. Colleyville and Austin, I don't believe are super close. Let's see if the bracket has. You'd think that the bracket would have details on this one. Yeah, still to be determined.
That could be a neutral site game. I won't be surprised if they play maybe in Waco.
Yeah, info says neutral site, so yeah. Because there's no seed favored on that, right? So that would
I would think Colleyville will win that game.
Colleyville. All right, so then the Convent's the one's pretty. If my memory serves me right, they have a pretty good history in this tournament as well, correct?
Yes.
So you got Convent versus Brook Hill. Convent 13-4, 9-1. And then Brook Hill finished third, 8-7, 6-3.
We'll go with the Convent.
Veraz Academy out of Austin and Dallas Christian Mystique.
I'll go with Dallas Christian. Well, what's the record for Veritas Academy?
They're 8-6-1, 8-2 in district for that year. Dallas Christian 9-3, 5-0 in district.
Yeah, we'll go with Dallas Christian.
Although I don't think that they have all their matches recorded here for that year. McKinley Christian finished second, 14-1, 9-1 against Lake Hill Prep, which was 9-2, 7-2 for that here.
That's going to be a real close game. They're pretty much, but I'll give that one to McKinney.
And Convent Christian Colleyville or Brentwood Christian out of Austin. Brentwood 9-2-1, and let's see here. Convent 7-6, 6-4 based on the records here. Would be in Austin.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Brentwood.
Moving to our side of the bracket here. So JP2 and Westbury Christian out of Houston.
We'll go JP2.
New Braunfels Christian and Logos Prep out of Sugarland. 17-14, 12-2 through there. And New Braunfels Christian finished strong at 12-5, 6-3. I'm just trying to see who Logo Prep is, if they played anybody. They played Incarnate Word and lost. Lost to Atonement Academy, beat Holy Cross. Beat TMI 2-1. They're in Lutheran South. So they did play quite a few games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they'll have the edge on that one. The Legacy over the Braunfels team.
Mm-hmm. Geneva or Northern Land Christian. Northern Land was 13-9-1, 8-5, and Geneva 14-2, 7-2. And Geneva's been one of the better girl programs at least this year for the TAPPS here in San Antonio area.
Yeah, I think Geneva will win this one. Like I said, they've got into a little streak, even though they had that loss for Shirts, but they gave them a game during that district play.
Then Cypress Christian out of Houston hosts the Atonement Academy. Cypress Christian 17-5-2, 14-0 in district, and then the Atonement Academy 8-1, 5-5. And I know Coach Cano said they've improved a lot this year from the previous year. But do you think that they got enough to travel on the road and beat the top seed out of District 5?
I think Cypress will take care of business in the whole match.
So the Convent and Dallas Christian Mystique, they're out of Mesquite.
I think the Comet will win that one.
McKinley Christian and Brentwood Christian out of Austin.
I think McKinley's going to win that one. McKinney's going to win that one.
So that would be in Austin, though, right? Most likely.
But I think McKinney might have a little bit more.
The DFW Magic.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, JP2 and Logos.
JP2. It'll be a close game. I think JP2 will pull it out.
And then Geneva traveling to Cypress Christian.
That'll be Cypress.
So then it sounds like it sets up a pretty exciting Final Four ish, if we can say that legally. On the 28th here, the Comet versus McKinley Christian.
Yeah, that'll be the Comet.
JP2 and Cypress.
I like JP2, but I think this might be the year for Cypress. I think they've been some good quality teams. Not to say that JP2 hasn't, but I think Cypress might be the year for Cypress that knocks them off.
Ooh. But are you picking Cypress to win the title, or are you picking the Comet?
I think the Comet pulls this one off in a close one.
So let me ask you this. I know the picks are in, but if it's JP2 shirts versus the Comet, does that change?
I think that could, because they've played each other. They're very, like I said, they've exchanged the titles a couple times already. Like I said,
Cypress would be the fourth one, right?
Yeah, it'll be the fourth one, and I would give the edge to JP2 on that one. But I think Cypress, what they've done, like I said, they've done well this season. I think this could be the year for them to get into the final. But I think the Comet, since they've been there already, another final, I think they'll have the edge on that one.
So that'd be interesting because really, do you give a lot of weight to McKinney or no?
McKinney will give them a challenge. Like I said, I'm sure they have some. Like I said, the record speaks for themselves of what they've done, and I think they've played some tough competition up in the Metroplex area. But same thing goes with the Covenant. So I think in the end, the Covenant has that pedigree as far as the playoff experience. They've been there and so forth, and I think, like I said, they'll find a way to win.
All right, moving over to the boys. Let's through here one second here. Let's get this set up here. Any scores update that you got?
Let's see. Trying to see who else is out there. I'm trying to get some. Nothing just yet. There's still, like I said, there's Piper boys now have taken a 2-0 lead over Spencer Valley boys. So upset alert there.
That's what, your second or third ranked team?
That's for this is boys.
Oh, boys.
Yeah. The girls were down 1-0 against the Spencer Valley girls. The Spencer Valley girls were number 2 in the rankings.
All right, here we go. All right, so let's just go over so 1 second here. 1 got 1 through 4, 4, 2, 4. Three got 5. All right, so District 1 has 4 teams in. So the Convent, 16-5, 13-1. Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville, 15-1, 13-1. Pantego Christian Academy out of Arlington, 12-5-1, 10-4. And then It's like it here. And McKinley Christian Academy, 7-9, 7-7. So it looks like the Convent and School out of Dallas and Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville, pretty good seasons. For their District 2, Brook Hill, 15-2-1, 9-1. Prince of Peace out of Carrollton, same 15-2, 9-1 in District. Coram Deo Academy out of Plano, 10-6-1, 7-4. And All Saints out of Tyler, 6-4, both district and overall for that here. District 3 has, just make sure, 5 schools. Yeah, so they got 5 schools in. So Brentwood Christian, 11-3-1, 8-1. Veratus Academy, 9-3, 8-1 in district. Hill Country Christian High School out of Austin, 12-3, 4-3. And then Concordia High out of Pflugerville, 6-6-2. And then Vanguard College Prep out of Waco, 5-5-1, 4-4. So that's that side of the bracket. Then moving over to our side here, District 4. New Bountiful Christian Academy, 11-1-1, 8-1. Incarnate Word out of Corpus, 11-5, 7-2. The Atonement Academy, 9-6, 7-2. And Geneva School, 7-9, 4-5 for that here. Out of District 5, let's see, 5-1, 5-2. So they got 3. So Lutheran High, 8-3, 8-2. Cypress Christian School, 7-4-2, 7-3. St. Joseph, 6-4 out of Bryan. St. Joseph's Catholic School out of Bryan, 6-4, 6-4. And then out of District 6, looks like that they got, there's 4 schools there from there. So the 5th one would be Northland Christian, 6-8, 5-5 for that here. And then out of District 6, British International, 13-2, 11-1. St. Thomas Episcopal School out of Houston, 14-4-1, 11-1. Bay Area Christian out of League City, 10-7-1, 7-5. And Logos Prep out of Sugar Land, 7-5, 7-5. So this is kind of an odd bracket to kind of go through here. So I think we're going to favor the title coming out of this side here for here. So the Convent gets a bye. Coral Dio out of Plano versus Hill Country Austin for that here. So Hill Country was 12-3, 4-3 in district. Coral Diem out of Plano, 10-6-1, 7-4. Plano would host. Coram Dio would host due to be in the higher seed.
Yeah. But I think the Plano team might have a little bit more. I think that's one of the upsets you have there.
Would it be? Well, actually, they're both third seeds. Might be a neutral site game, huh?
Yeah.
You'd still favor them?
Yeah, I still favor them.
Veratus Academy. Let's see here. Veratus was 9-3, 8-1, and All Saints. Where are the All Saints was 6-4 through there here. So you give the advantage to Veratus Academy out of Austin since Tyler has to travel.
Yeah, we'll give that to them.
And then Convent Christian Colleyville, 15-1, 13-1 in district. Vanguard College Prep out of Waco, 5-5-1, 4-4. So I'm assuming you're going with the Colleyville school.
Colleyville,
right?
yeah.
McKinney Christian Academy, 7-9, 7-7 against Prince of Peace out of Carrollton, 15-2, 9-1. Out of District 2.
We go with Prince of Peace.
And then Concordia High School out of Pflugerville, 6-6-2, 5-4, and Pentago Christian Academy 12-5-1, 10-4. So Pflugerville would have to. Well, I guess that's not a big travel, right? Pflugerville to Arlington. Well, no,
It's about a
Pflugerville's
3-hour
Austin.
drive.
Never mind. Yeah, that's.
So we'll go with Arlington on that one.
So New Braunfels gets a bye. St. Joseph Catholic out of Bryan. 6-4, probably a neutral site game against, because the 2/3 seeds again, against Bay Area Christian, 10-7-1, 7-5. So it looks like a pretty even match between third seeds between Districts 5 and District 6. Bryan and League City, well, different sides of Houston, right? So
yeah,
for there, so there is a little bit of travel through there.
Yeah, I'll go with League City on that one.
League City, and then a Carnarvon out of Corpus, 11-5, the Angels, and 7-2 in district, hosting Sugarland Logos Prep, 6, 7-5. In overall and league based on the records here.
That might be a tricky game there because of the districts. I'll give Corpus the edge. I think they squeak by that one, being the host. But don't be surprised. That could be an upset there.
Geneva traveling to Cypress Christian out of Houston. Cypress Christian 7-4-2, 7-3. Geneva 7-9, 4-5. So I guess it kind of depends how much weight that you put between Districts 4 and Districts 5. Although it is a traveling day for Bernie. So
I'm going to give the edge on that one on Cypress.
And then the Atonement Academy hosting Northland Christian out of Houston. Atonement 9-6, 7-2, and then that's 5. Northland 6-8, 5-5 in there. So do you give Houston some love, or are you giving San Antonio some love as far as from the Atonement?
I think the Atonement continues on the season here. I think it's a great season for them. Making from that transition from fall to winter soccer. So in year 2, so they'll get to the next round.
All right, so then that brings us to the area round next Tuesday, the Convent versus Coram Deo Plano, or Coram Deo out of Plano. I'm assuming you're going with the Convent.
Yeah.
Veratus Academy traveling to Brook Hill. We haven't talked a lot about Brook Hill. 15-2-1, 9-1, won first place in District 2.
Oh, Brook Hill.
And then Convent Christian Colleyville and Prince of Peace in Carrollton. I'm assuming this probably be neutral site.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one there because they're two quality teams there.
Prince of Peace 15-2, 9-1, and then Convent 15-1, 13-1. So yeah, good luck on picking this one.
Yeah, I want to give this one an edge to Colleyville. I think they'll get this one.
Colleyville. And then, all right, I have a feeling how you're going to go, but we'll ask anyway. Pentago Christian out of Arlington finished third out of that tough District 1, 12-5-1, 10-4. Against Brentwood Christian, finished first out of the Austin area, 11-3-1, 8-1 along those lines here. Knowing you, I have a feeling you're leaning Arlington. Is that true or no?
No, I think Brentwood gets this one. I think if they're going to host this one, I think they'll get this one. It'll be a tough one for them, but I think being at home, I think they get this one.
Well, I was a little surprised on that for there. So moving over to the other side, New Braunfels Christians hosting Bay Area Christian out of Lake City.
This is another one, tough one. I'm gonna give the edge to New Braunfels Christian. I think they can get. I think they can get this one.
But it wouldn't shock you if League City came over and upset them. St. Thomas, East Fiscal, and Lutheran High North. Lutheran High, we
Yeah.
haven't really talked a lot about. 8-3, 8-2. St. Thomas, 14-4 and 1, 11-1. So probably
St. Thomas. It'll be a tough one, but I think St. Thomas pulls this one off.
because there's really no travel on that one, right?
Yeah.
I think from here you're probably going to go with well, actually, yeah. I'm gonna
go with
believe you're going to
Cyprus.
lean to Cyprus just because
Yeah.
how you mentioned about Corpus Christi, the
Yeah.
kind of word from them, and then British International School or the Atonement Academy.
I guess the 3 Lions are probably going to advance on this one.
That's the British
school. I'm sure they probably have some British players there too.
Their nickname is Boys Soccer, according to the thing here. But 13-2, 11-1 along those lines here. So that would set up a all Houston final on that side there. So over here, I'm assuming this is probably the match of the rounds here. The Convent versus Brook Hill.
Yeah,
15-2-1, 9-1, and 16-5, 13-1.
Yeah, I'll give the edge to the Convent. I think they pulled this one out. This will probably be one of the game going into overtime.
And then would be in Austin because they're the higher seed. Convent Christian out of Colleyville, traveling down to Brentwood.
I think Colleyville pulls this one off.
And then New Braunfels Christians or St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
So you got Houston versus Houston shaping up here, and then Cyprus Christian or British International.
British International.
So we'll go with this one here. St. Thomas or British International. So that's 6. Let's see how they faced head up here. So British International lost to St. Thomas on the 15th, 3-1 in a makeup game from December. And that looks to be the only time that they play.
Wonder if they play like a tournament.
Here's a STE. Here's a STE at Bish Turf Field 4-0 on January 26th. So they probably changed it. So STE has to be that St. Thomas Super Bowl. So they beat them on January 26th 4-0, probably at their field. Lost 3-1 at St. Thomas. But this would be a neutral site game.
I'll give the edge to St. Thomas. I think they'll get this one.
All right, so then let's take a look here between 1 and 2 out of District 1. Let's see how they have this. So Colleyville College. The Comet lost to them February 6th. But they did beat them. It's weird. The road team won each match. They beat the Convent beat them in Colleyville 4-3 on January 12th. But Colleyville got the revenge on February 6th, 3-2. So these 2 games have been very tight. 1-goal games, lots of offense, it looks like here. Did we lose you, Rafa? I think we lost Rafa. I guess I'll be the one making the call here.
I think that one should go to. I think the Covenant will go to that one.
The Covenant.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. I was going to actually go Colleyville. I was going to pull the upset here. So then you got the Convent or St. Thomas. I'm assuming you're going with the Dallas schools, right? No matter which one wins.
Yeah, the Convent. Yeah, it'll be a good game, but I think Convent. Yeah, I think the boys and the girls. I think they make the clean sweep here.
So here, and this kind of wraps it up here. So we got actually, I think Convent winning both boys and girls out of Division 3. So I guess here's my question here for you, and this might be something the next time we get with with Coach Cano. Would it be better to kind of, because how they, to me, like in Colorado and other areas, they have kind of like seeding points, like college basketball RPI points along those lines. Would that, especially for these schools here, not saying travel expenses aren't expensive, but where it's mostly in this triangle area between Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, having it kind of broke up. And the reason why I bring it out is obviously, like going through, having, the convent in Brook Hill, the convent, along those lines here, especially on the boys' side. I wonder if it would be better if you went kind of, like a truer market where you kind of rank them 1 through X number of teams, and then that way you kind of play that way. Do you think that would be maybe a little bit fairer path? Because no offense, but it seems like that at least at the D3 level that we just went through, the talented schools in the DFW knock each other out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes the same way. Like like with the UIL, like with Region 1 and in Region 2. I mean, they knock up. Some of the top teams are probably, if they were Region 3 or 4, probably would make the state tournament. I think that's.
But I mean, I'm only talking about when you get to the state tournament. So
final, yeah.
So you finish 1 through 4 in your district, or 1 through 3, whatever. But then those 3 teams, get it. Those 3 or 4 teams then go into a ranking based on points and caliber of wins, RPI. Because let's be honest, for football they do it. They have a tracking for it. So there is to me, there's got to be a formula that they can use for soccer as well. And I think both for UIL and TAPPS, I think you'd get a better set of playoffs. And especially where there's 2-3 days between matches. It's not like basketball where you turn around and burn, except for the finals here where you have 28th. I hate how they have it on the 25th, 28th, and the first. For UIL, or pardon me, for TAPPS, but
I think like what were you saying? Sorry?
I just think for me, you'd get more of a balance, and you'd the better teams, you wouldn't knock each other out. So I think you get a better tournament, in my opinion.
Kind of like an NCAA tournament, doing the seedings like that. And when they're doing March Madness, I think the big issue is, like I said, the travel. But if they do that route, they would have to probably play every weekend. Probably a Saturday, so that way it doesn't cut into class time and so forth.
But there's not that much. If you're going from San Antonio to Houston, or San Antonio to Dallas, or vice versa, it's not like going from El Paso to Houston, where it's an 8-hour, 8 to 10 hour trip.
Unless you had like Beaumont Kelly playing at Cathedral in El Paso, that would probably be the longest trip for a playoff game. But I mean, I think if they do it, they probably have to play one playoff game a weekend. I think that's probably the best route to do it. Or even, if you have those teams, within that, that bracket, they play, like I said, one of them's getting a bye. So you play at a neutral, or play at their place, and the other 2 teams that are playing each other are going to play the team with a bye. They play at that place, and then whoever wins the next day they play. I think maybe that could be probably the best route, and they play every like a Friday, Saturday, all the way until they get to the to the state semifinals. That's a possibility there. But if you could find a way to seed them right. But not sure how TAPPS works on these things. It seems odd.
There's not a consistency, in the brackets, and I know it depends on different number of teams in each each district along those
Yeah.
lines. And that's why, to me, yeah, you could have, hey, your qualifiers are through here, but then once you make the playoffs, to me, I think that's where you could go with because if you go to Max Preps, they have a ranking of teams, however that they calculate it. You have your RPI, thing that you do with the 50/50 podcast. Lethal has, his way of kind of balancing things out. So there is a method to be able to do it, and the schools and districts would have to, agree to, hey, this would work. But I think for me, that would be something that would be interesting to kind of see them develop for it. And to me, it's about getting the best, hopefully the best team,
The best game,
the best games, the best team, best teams, at the state tournament along those lines for that. So that's the only reason why I bring it up.
like I said, like maybe that's something, maybe they can look in the future, because I think them having less teams in playoffs, it's a possibility they could do it. But I think that the issue is going to be, the seeding, who actually gets the number one overall seed compared to the other ones, and how they're going to factor in as far as with district play, who had the tougher district, and if they have the coaches vote for it, that's a possibility. Out of the coaches vote, who they think is number one, and so, or they make a committee, out of it to select who's the over one more, your top 4 seeds, and and maybe out of that they can host, kind of like I said with March Madness, they have those regional sites, and then there you find out who really
Well,
has.
they do it for football and basketball as well. Along those lines, to where you could put it in quads, saying, hey, these 4 teams travel up, play a Thursday, Saturday type situation. Because it's not like when I went to school, when you miss school, you miss school. Now, if you left Thursday evening and traveled, or through there, that Friday you technically could still have class online through Zoom and stuff like that if needed. Just to me, it's something that I would like to see it. That way, you get a little bit more level of consistency. But I thought it was interesting. We'll see how we do on the bracketology. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in. Like I said, here it's kind of a warm up. First time we've done TAPPS, and like I said here, I think next time I'll have to do a little bit more research on the actual records for that here, just for the fact that the website was good, but like the one school that had no recording, maybe try to reach out to them if possible, but it just seemed odd.
Maybe TAPPS need to invest on an app, maybe kind of like they got soccer, that way they can input all the games and records in there, that way everything can be on track and so forth.
Well, we say that about UIL as well.
UIL
so this isn't
too.
Just a TAPPS issue. Isn't just a TAPPS
it's an
issue.
overall high school high school soccer issue here for both TAPPS and UIL. Like I said, yeah, there's some teams that didn't input their games, and then finally they put them in. Oh, I have this record. When we get surprised when we do the rankings and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on this. If we get, like I said, the ones we picked. Like I said, with TAPPS soccer line, talking with Coach Cano, there are some very good competitive teams. Like as you mentioned, like with Ursuline, they've been the dominant team for the girls, for the D1, the 6A. And like I said, hopefully, like Shirts, John Paul, GP2, they get, they won it last year. Could they do it again? I know they'll have some tough tests, even though I may not pick them, but my heart, hopefully they can go in and get the final, get the title back. And same thing with Central Catholic, like I said, I think this is their kind of like a redemption tour for them, and I think they have all the pretty much, the drive to get back where they were, especially when like they had Jose Gallegos leading them to those championships.
Any final thoughts, whether it's high school or Real Madrid related or anything? We haven't touched on Real Madrid from you in a while, so figure we can throw it in here.
Well, they did win that World Club Championship, so they got that, and they had another win midweek. I think they play Liverpool coming up for Champions League.
Yes.
So that's coming up. story out of La Liga about Barcelona paying off the refs. That's being investigated. That doesn't look good for La Liga, especially for Barcelona. And then Man City with their little financial issues could possibly lose some points.
Oh, so interesting. Following SA_28 SA High School and Club Soccer. 11 minutes ago, Piper retook the lead 3-2. With 6 minutes left, right after Smithson Valley equalized it 2-2 at the 17th minute. So game may be over, but he hasn't updated as of yet. But that looks like living up to be one of the games of the year.
Yeah, that was, like I said, there was a couple key games tonight, and like we said, the TAPPS girls, they got a 2-1 win over Brennan. And then they got that showdown with O'Connor coming up on Tuesday. I think if TAPPS girls beats O'Connor, I think they have a lock on that district title for 29 6A. Big game tomorrow at noon. The rematch, Brandeis versus Lee at Gustafson Stadium. That's going to be. Last year Brandeis knocked off Lee at their home field, and it kind of threw things off as far as in that district city. Is Lee gonna learn from the first game, which I think they had a little edge on that. It was like I said, it was pretty even in the for a while, but Lee started kind of getting a little more chances, and they did miss a penalty kick, and then that, like I mentioned, that could haunt them back, for not being able to equalize, to get that in. But I think Coach Rogers, I think he'll have him ready for this game, and lots of riding on the line. Brandeis has to win this game to at least, get into that in the race for the district title, because, like I said, they still have the showdown with Reagan down the road, and the same thing with Lee. They have that rematch again, so it's between those three teams. And the other districts, like I mentioned, Bernie. I just saw the Bernie girls. They had a big win again, so they're chugging along. And Kennedy,
surprise,
I think,
right?
and then I think the Kennedy girls got a positive result. They actually tied Lavernia, so they maintain that that district lead for that's a surprise too. The favorite coming in was going to be the Lavernia girls, but kudos to the Kennedy Lady Rockets. That's a great result for them. To maintain the lead, and that's a little another setback for Lavernia, getting 2 ties in a row, and we'll see what happens when they play again. And Southwest just eked by their after that big win over Harlandale. Talk about rivalry games, against Legacy. They just squeaked by Legacy 1-0, and that would have been something there. That would have been something. That was the end of that winning streak for that, for their, in their district. So, but hey, kudos to Legacy for not rolling over and giving them a game. So I think Southwest are probably, maybe it was a little letdown because of that game, that big game with Harlandale, but I think they'll bounce back, and I think they'll take care of business and win the district title.
So, show Thursday again, the 23rd, 7:30, mm-hmm. Right? No.
Yep.
No.
I'll be live from. I'll be live from Waco, Texas.
Ooh.
I'll be in Waco.
No Rafa Power 15 this week.
We'll wait a bit.
Just the standings.
Yeah, we'll wait a bit, just the standings, and then 2 weeks, like I said, we'll have the rankings again, and there I'll be live in Laredo for that one. So I'm on the road for these next 3 weeks, and then I'll be back home for most of pretty much all March. So
except for the playoffs.
So, yeah. So the schedule kind of worked out in a bit, so that way I don't have to do much traveling until probably maybe after the the UI season's over, and but some great action. Like I said, I think things are starting to heating up. We're starting to see the teams who's pulling away, who's the contender, and who's, like I said, quote unquote, the pretenders on these teams, and still plenty of great soccer. And like I said, there's some races that are going to probably come down to the last couple games, and then we see a couple of those districts. But that's great. We have some great, that shows the quality of soccer. I think it's gone up a lot more this year. Especially some of these teams have really kind of raised the bar and are playing at a phenomenal level. Like shout out to, like I said, like Piper. Both the boys and the girls are playing awesome. And same thing with like Smithson Valley girls and the boys. They've bounced back. You're looking at teams like like the Bernie girls. They've dominated, and the boys too. But also you got to keep an eye out. Like I said, teams like Davenport, Wimberley, and Lee.
So-
I think Lee's on a little redemption. I think for what happened last year. I think they've settled a lot of things.
So next show that we're going to be doing Sunday, the San Antonio FC fan cast for that here. Royce, me, you. I don't believe Robert's going to be in because he's got was it a Brahmas game? But the Brahmas game kicks off mid-afternoon. So
at 2, yeah. So he'll probably be back in time. Hopefully.
Well, he may be back, but he may not be back because I have a feeling Robert will be consuming some adult.
He might have a little too much fun with The Rock.
So it looks like that there's going to be quite a bit to talk about with San Antonio FC. There's the Tulsa match. There was one player, Carlos Mercado, returned. You got to kind of feel bad for him because he missed the championship year for some odd reason. But he's back. He was announced this week. They came out with the promo schedule. League's back on ESPN officially, or reports are. USL put out an article about pro referees, so I'm assuming that's back on based on how it was written. The league never officially said they weren't going pro referees, but there were whispers of it. So a lot to talk about on San Antonio Fancast here, San Antonio FC Fancast. So tune in around 7:30 Sunday on these channels, as well as the San Antonio FC Twitter and Facebook page as well. Rafa, like I said here, was fun. Might have to see if we can recruit somebody else next time, maybe a little bit up north in the DFW area that has a little bit of knowledge on the TAPPS schools up there, because I know both you and Coach Cano mentioned that that is the powerhouse when it comes to TAPPS and probably UIL as well when it comes to soccer. So
yeah, we're starting to see that. You like with my rankings with the 50/50 podcast. My top 2 teams or 3 teams are in the DFW area, except for the boys. The boys I have Lake Travis. So like I said, they've been actually tonight they're playing Westlake. So we'll see what kind of result they come out on that. But yeah, girls side, and they said it's been all DFW, and who's to say? Hopefully, like I said, hopefully one of our TAPPS teams here in San Antonio, like I said, with boys or girls, does end up getting the. We're rooting for you guys. Like I said, we're making these picks, but we're still rooting for you. We want you guys to hopefully prove everybody wrong and get those state titles back over here, because we like to have the hardware here, just like San Antonio FC.
And just to let you know, JP2 on the ladies' side, I had you going through, but Rafa is the official picker for the show here, so that's why I did the pushback. So, but Rafa, it was fun. Like I said, we get to do this about a month from now, right?
Yeah, about a month. There's some certifications. So. I think on the 20th, I believe, for UIL. So the playoffs should start. Let me see. I have the dates here.
The 20th, probably they would start the Thursday, Friday, right?
Yeah,
so the 23rd,
district
24th.
District certifications March 21st. So and then the 23rd through the 25th is the first round of the playoffs. So like I said, 4 days after that, right away. Like I said, there'll be some key matchups coming up, and there's some. Like I said, there's some teams playing into like last year till the 20th. So we'll see how that. Hopefully they'll have those teams and put into the brackets in time and so forth. I know I got some issues last year with a lot of the Valley teams, especially for 4A. That UIL haven't gotten the input into that, but this should be interesting because, like I said, now we're seeing teams at the halfway point for UIL. We're seeing the teams who may make some deep runs into the playoffs, and who's for real. And like I said, I have an eye on a couple of teams. I think they're going to do pretty well. I think deep in the playoffs.
All right. Like I said, Rafa was fun. We'll let you get out here. I'll get this show loaded up for the podcast version. For here, thank you for everybody that tunes in. Thank you for everybody that listens, watches, and supports the show. If you can, please like and give a rating, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, wherever that you listen to the show. If you can, give us and give SA Soccer Roundtable a like and a rating. Obviously, we prefer 5 stars, but if we're not doing something good, any feedback is good for us. Also, if you want to, you can follow us on Twitch now. Matt is still helping us out behind the scenes with the Twitch and trying to get us older people, I mean me, upgraded with the Twitch and other things there. But thank you, Rafa, and I hope everybody has
Thank
a
you.
wonderful evening in What's Life Without Goals. We out.